Charlotte Lewis with Share with Charlotte podcast, with emphasis is placed on finding balance in relationships. I am the creator and host, and I want to say thank you for tuning in for this particular episode. But before I get and dive into what this is, let me invite you for my previous one that was titled Much is Missed When You're Moving Too Fast. And I hope that you was able to check that particular one out because we do move too fast in life and we miss a lot. And sometimes they are very important things that we miss that we can't even afford to miss. So our decisions are based on not the totality of all the information needed to make a good sound and a great decision that you should make, but we're making one based on just partial information needed. So I'd like to also encourage you to check out my other episodes on my channel. And if any of those sessions that you like, please click the like button. If you think it's worthy of sharing, please share. And if you have not yet subscribed or follow, please do so. And I invite you to be a part of my podcast community. So thank you again now for tuning in. Let me just say the reason for my glasses. I'm actually foresighted. But again, yes, my eye is having issues again. So now I'm needing to make sure I go and check out a specialist because it got better, then it came back. So something is going on. And if you out there having some issues, get checked because our health is everything. Okay, on this particular segment, this one is titled Marriage. Are you celebrating the years? Or are you celebrating the life? How many of you have actually spoken with a couple and I know I'm guilty of this, and they tell you they've been married for 15, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever that is. And we just start praising like, oh, wow, especially when it's a large number. We're like, wow, congratulations. That's beautiful. That's great. But really, what are they celebrating? Because we assume they're celebrating the years and the life of the marriage. See, everybody don't get to do that. Some of us are celebrating just the years, and some people are celebrating both. And it reminds me of our former president, Jimmy Carter. And we have watched over the years, and I remember he was president over the years with his wife, and they had been married when she passed 77 years. But we have watched them over the years, and we've heard people speak so highly of the relationship and how they are so intertwined and the love that they have for each other and how they care for each other and what a beautiful, special relationship they had. And when you see them together, you can actually see that. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch over the years, that relationship. See, everybody don't have what they have, what they had. Some people do, and some people don't. But some people truly are celebrating the years and the life of their marriage when you see them out celebrating. And not to say the marriage is perfect, because there's no perfect marriage, because we're two imperfect people. But they have over time or whatever, have developed what we call a good, healthy relationship, and sometimes even a great relationship. Where you find that you have accepted each other's flaws and all, that you learn to cherish one another, to be grateful for one another, and to show that in what you do and what you put out, not just in words. To not be where you control the other person, but allow them to find freedom within the marriage. One that you don't take for granted. One that you provide service to because you want to serve your partner, your mate. The one that you're willing to make sacrifices for. The one that you put often maybe even your needs before theirs. Or I'm sorry, where you put their needs before your own. Because you care that much for them. You love them that much. One that you cherish. One that you know that you're blessed to have this person in your life. So therefore you treat them with everything you know in you to give them your best self. Or maybe you watched your wife or you watched your husband or your significant others with their children or even your children to be a great dad or a great mother, and your heart just melts and just warm with the relationship they built with the children. You watch this person maybe that have such a good heart and a good spirit about them. They have a great relationship with God. So they're living a godly life within your marriage, putting God first, making him the foundation and the core of how he chooses to love you. And you can celebrate the life and the years. But you know, there's always a flip side of everything. Then you have some people who are looking more toward, well, it's been 10 years, 15, 20, 30, 40, whatever the years may be, but you have them celebrating the years. Now, they can still count the same on the years. Nothing changed because one thing we don't control is time, but it's the life that you build in your relationship, your marriage, or whatever that is, that will determine whether or not you really do celebrate that life. Because there are people who will stay in relationship 30, 40, 50 years or whatever it may be, and miserable, deprived, unfulfilled, abused, misused, mistreated, and the way they're talked down to, or ridiculed, controlled, but yet they come out year after year and celebrate. And somebody will congratulate them on the years they are celebrating. Don't know that when they go home, what you see in public isn't what you get in private. And they may go home to all sorts of things that are unhealthy in a relationship. They maybe even go to split rooms. You go to your room and I go to mine. You don't know what people are actually celebrating. But I know I'm guilty. So guilty when I hear, especially when I hear a big number. It's been 50 years, it's been 60, and you just get excited for them. Because even to be with somebody that long is not an easy task. But the question really is, what are you celebrating? The years or the life? But can you imagine the blessing that if you're able to celebrate both, you're taking two people and whatever else comes with it, building a life together, sharing a life together with all your baggage that you bring in, all of your imperfections, to build something that the two of you can actually hold dear to your heart and call it a relationship, call it a marriage. If you can build that to a place where it's good, it's great, wonderful, healthy, wholesome, phenomenal relationship, that is a beautiful thing. But you have to have two people. You can't have one. You got to have two people who can do that together. Because if one is out of sync, just one, if one of you is out of sync, it's not going to happen. That's why they say be careful who you choose. Because you can't work with everybody. And everybody's not going to work with you. But it just made me think about how many times have I congratulated people? Because that's such a natural thing to do, is to just be filled with a sense of joy and pleasure of someone making it another year. And like I said, when those years add up, it's even more impressive because you have succeeded to get to that number of years. But do we really know what the big celebration is? And sometimes it's about sitting down and just asking, so how did you do that? How did y'all do it? Because I'm working for myself. Next year would be a total of 9 years. And to me, that's a big number because I've never been married for a total of 9 years, consecutive years. Never had that. My longest has been 6. So for me, that's a milestone for me. But when you get to those big numbers, it just draws me in. And it's like, wow, that many numbers. How did you do that? Because as anybody married knows, unless you've been blessed to have the exception to what most of us are experiencing, that is, you put real work in to stay up above water. You put real work in because it's your responsibility to make sure your spouse or your significant others is in a good place with you. And it takes both people to do that in order to have a healthy marriage or healthy relationship. Because if only one is doing it, that means only one side is being blessed to receive it. But the person who's left deprived is struggling because they need to be feel valued and loved and appreciated, not based on words, but what you do and how you do it to fulfill that so that person know, not just from what's said, but in how they're treated and how they're loved. All of that. And it's hard in relationship. I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of times it's difficult because most of us have a selfish nature. Most of us want to be what we want to be, not what we feel like we have to be. And we're selfish by nature. That's where sacrifice come in. You have to be willing to make those sacrifices because that person is worthy. So that when we do celebrate, we celebrate both the years and the life. But you have to create the life to celebrate. It didn't just magically appear in your relationship. You have to create what that is to be in that place of true happiness and where you're good in a relationship because that is something that you have to put work in, time in, effort in. You do that. And to do that also, you have to step back and bring that person forward so that you don't take all the limelight as to it's all about you. Because some of us has a tendency to do that, where you make it more about you than the other person. That's not how you get to a place of celebrating the life of your relationship or your marriage. And you want to celebrate both. It's important that you be in a place of celebrating both. Otherwise, you're just celebrating the years. And that is not a healthy relationship. It's not one that the other person or you feel fulfilled in that relationship. And sometimes it will last to death do we part. And I know the Bible gives us two reasons that you can divorce: abandonment, infidelity. It may not be any of those things that have taken you to a place of misery in your relationship or your marriage. But let me say this: misery is still misery. Whether they stepped out on you or whether they abandoned a relationship, misery is still misery. It feels the same. But there's a number of things that someone can do or not do to create that space of total emptiness where you really are lonely in a marriage and you feel alone in a marriage because you're forgotten. Or the fact that it doesn't matter. You don't matter. And you may be the one just giving, 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 but you're not getting. You don't want to be fulfilled in a relationship that you with someone and you're there to be faithful. And you're there to be a part of something that you thought would be beautiful. But you in a place too that you feel you know you can't leave, or you're in a place that You don't trust yourself to lead because you don't trust yourself to be able to provide for yourself, care for yourself, or whatever the reason be. So you stay, or you have your kids. And I want a family. It's a miserable family together, but it's a family. But another year passed, and another year passed, and another year passed. And you keep counting those years. You keep counting those years. But you just don't celebrate the life. The life that you deserve, the life that you prayed for, the life that you hoped for. But you celebrate the years, even though they're empty, unfulfilled. But they're the years. So I want to encourage you. And I'm talking to me too, because anything can hit your relationship. But I encourage you to really sit down with your partner, your significant other, your spouse. Perfect time to do that because you're just starting and say, what do we want this year to look like for us? These are some of the concerns. And I'm not saying this will go anywhere. All you're doing is putting in effort. But what can we improve on with each other and for each other? That when we celebrate our next anniversary, we celebrate both years and life together. But that's what you want to celebrate. I haven't yet done that with my husband, but I'm going to do that because it's always a work in progress. Because otherwise, if you don't continue to work, then there's a lot of things that will get away from you. There's a lot of things that will get undressed where it won't be addressed. And you want to make sure that you're in a place where you keep your relationship healthy. It may be the year you decide to go to counseling because you're not being heard. And it's just a repeat of the same thing, but going nowhere. It may be the year that you may have to decide to make change. Only you know where you are. I don't have your life. Only you know where you are. But you're in a position, we all are, where we can at least make the effort for change, to do better. If you're all in with your relationship and you know you've been celebrating the years, but not the life, or just look at 2024. You ain't got to go 5, 10 years down. Just look at your last year when you had your anniversary. What did you celebrate? Was it the years? Or did you celebrate the years and the life? Just last year. Because if you didn't celebrate that last year, you sure don't want to repeat this year. So it's perfect timing to really take a look at that and just have real talk. And then decide how do you go forward making the changes. Because you want to celebrate both. Life is short. Time is just really just fleeing. It's you look up and we'll be in spring. You look up, it'll be summer. And you're in the same place. You look up, it'll be your next anniversary. And you made no progress. It's about putting in the work. So that when you throw out those years and you're sharing that with people, you can truly celebrate both the years and the life of you two being together. Because it's so important. And you can engage and show your children or show others your progress that others might want to say, wow, I don't want to, we need to be some of that because we all a work in progress. I don't care what relationship you're in. You have never arrived to a place of perfection. And if you stop working, it will die. If you stop working on your relationship, your marriage, it would die. And I'm not saying that it would die because you will part ways. Because you could be in a marriage and it's dead. We know that. You can be in a relationship and it's dead. But it will die if you don't continue to put work in. So I just want to encourage you to just place yourself in a place, position yourself, get together and talk about it so that this year you can maybe do some things differently if you haven't yet arrived to that place where your marriage is in a good place. And then if it is in a good place or a great place, the thing that's made it good or made it great, you want to continue those things and don't get lazy or complacent as if it's going to work itself. The things that you have done to get to a place of good, great relationship or whatever that is, healthy, you have to continue doing those things because they don't do those things by itself. We have to put in that work. But I do applaud you because I know you didn't get there without putting in the work, the time, the sacrifice, all of that. So when you see that next couple, married, together, significant other, whatever it is, and they throw out this number, and to me, I had to just stop and just ask myself, so is it the years you celebrate or is it the years and the life you celebrate? In that place of being together, in that place of being one with each other. Although it's inclusive, we know of everything else that comes with it. But it's first the two of you and God. Because it needs to be covenant under God. Because I promise you, it's hard if you don't make God your center and your core, the foundation in which you learn how to love each other. It's hard. And it's hard it's harder if you don't. And it's still hard if you do. Because there's an adjustment that you have to make to do that and to be that. But you do it because you'll be more compelled to do it. You'll do it because you're more driven to do it. You do it because you have first the love of God. And that love you want to pour into your marriage or your relationship. But you do need that. And if you don't have that, I encourage you to know who God is because you need him in your relationship and your marriage to get to that place of celebrating years and the life. So thank you. Take this to heart because you in a relationship, not just for show, but you're in a relationship so you can grow, build together. Whatever this is that God is helping you to create together, but you want that. You want that. You don't want the chaos and you don't want the craziness. You want peace. You want happiness. You want love. You want intimacy. You want respect. You want all of that. And then some. But you see God. You need that. You need him as a foundation. You need him to show you how. To give you strength when you want to give up. To get over disappointments. You need God for that. So I encourage you. And I want those years in your relationship to keep stacking up. But I want them to stack on the premises and the basis of you celebrating your years and your life with your partner, your significant other, your spouse. That's what you want. So be encouraged. Make this a year where you, again, sit down and have real talk, real conversation. If you struggled in 24, those things you struggle, bring it to the forefront of 25, and let's deal with it so we can get better. Because if you don't address those things, more things come in and things you hadn't even already addressed. Now you got more things. And I'm just saying, you will literally destroy a relationship that could have been good. Could have been good. Communication is such a key. But it takes two people. Take both of you. Not one who's driven to make a difference. So I'm hoping that it happens. I pray that it does for you. Pray to God. Whatever it is, pray together. Pray over it. Whatever it is that you decide, pray over it. And then get to work. Make this a good year. Make your next celebration again, your anniversary. Make it for both the years and for the life. That's what I'm working on. That's what my husband and I were working on. We want both of that. Always. And it takes work. So thank you for listening in. Thank you for taking the time to the ones who will make comments. And thank you for that. Even just sharing with any other comments that may pertain to what your interest is or your concerns. Please leave any comments. I would appreciate that. If you like this message, please click the like button. If you think someone could use this message, please share it. Subscribe, follow. And again, I invite you to be a part of my podcast community. And visit me on my YouTube channel, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And I just want to say, stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. We got a new beginning, 2025. And I'm just take this to heart to where you just want better if you don't have it. And for those who have it, keep doing the work and keep celebrating. Thank you. And I look forward to the next episode to share with you. And you have a blessed one. Thank you.